right, gang. First of all, thanks for coming to the Excerpt channel and checking out this excerpt, clip, if you will, of an ASP podcast episode from the recent past. So it's not a whole episode. Whole episodes are available only on the app in the video form. You can listen anywhere you want, any podcast outlet. Listen to the audio version, not a problem. For the video version, if you want to watch the whole thing, get the app. It is literally free to watch on the app. No payment, no subscription required. Go over there, check it out, and I hope you enjoy the clip. Well, alrighty, gang. Welcome back to the Gutowski Files, starring our very own Stephen Gutowski. He is the owner and editor-in-chief over at TheReload.com. That's TheReload.com. Write that down, make a note of it, and go check that out when you get a chance. There's all sorts of fantastic content over there, and Stephen does rely on his membership dues to fund his important work. Stephen, how are you, sir?
Palm pepper spray is next generation OC spray. It's hot at 1.4% major capsaicinoids, and its modular design means you can customize it exactly to you. 3 different setups, lots of different color combinations. You can make it exactly as you like. And the flip top safety prevents accidental discharges. It's 10 to 12 foot range and 25 half-second blasts. Make sure that you can keep that long range eye poke at long range. I trust Palm OC and I recommend it for everyone for self-defense.
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Not too bad. We're going to do just 2 seconds of sports talk. Don't worry. If you hit the 15-second forward button, we'll be done. But my beloved Washington Commanders are playing tonight against the Bengals, and I have a feeling we're going to get destroyed because Joe Burrow is in a bad mood after losing his first couple games, and he's a really good quarterback. Eagles, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Because they won the game, but Goddard really bailed them out, and everyone's coming for Sirianni's head. You have 10 seconds. Go.
Was this PTI or was it exactly. Around the horn?
Pardon the interruption. I just don't.
It's around the horn. Anyway, yes, good win, Eagles.
All right.
Yeah. No, Devontae Smith got hurt. AJ Brown's out. I don't know. I hope they can pull it together for the next win. And then we already have a bye week coming up super soon. So
yeah, I thought it was weird to me.
The defense looked good though. So
if you hit the 30 seconds forward button, we're done now. Moving on, we're going to discuss an article a member exclusive analysis written by Jake Fogelman over at TheReload.com. The headline of which is, do gun rights advocates have a gender problem or something worse? Stephen, talk to us. What's going on? Is there a gender problem with the Second Amendment community? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this piece looks at a recent Gallup report that came out that studied sort of the long-term trends among different demographics, and especially young women, women to 18 to 39, I believe is the cohort that they were focused on, and has honestly gotten a lot of discussion over the last couple of years, especially in this election cycle, as a group that has moved particularly quickly to the left compared to where they used to be, 1 or 2 election cycles ago, the sort of pre-Trump era, compared to where they are now. And one of the big drivers of that, as Jake notes, has been gun policy. That group is much more dissatisfied with current gun laws than they used to be. They've moved significantly on that issue, and they also are much more supportive of tightening American gun laws than they used to be. So that's gotten a lot of the focus, is sort of that movement within young women in America. And I would say that it is clearly a problem for gun rights advocates, that they have not done an adequate or good job of reaching that group with their message. They have not been able to convince them that the pro-gun point of view is a better way of going. So it is a significant issue. However, what we've noticed and what Jake wrote is that a lot of the emphasis gets put on young women. But if you look at the other groups in this polling, there's not really any good news for gun rights advocates. Young men have also moved to the left on whether they would want stricter gun laws. They haven't moved as much as young women, but really all groups have moved a bit. I remember we did a piece on this. I think it's been a while now. The Reload's been around for 3 years, so we're starting at the point where the pieces can be a couple years old. But one of the things that we've noticed over time is that, and we've talked about this on the show before, right? There's sort of an ebb and flow when it comes to gun policy polling.
Correct. Yeah.
Americans' views on guns tend to change around major mass shooting events, right? That's when Americans are paying most attention. That's when it gets the most media coverage. We've sort of talked about this with the election. There haven't been a lot of mass shootings this year, a lot of high profile instances of gun violence. So you haven't seen as much of an emphasis on guns in this election, even though you have a pretty stark contrast between the candidates, and you have a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, one of the candidates can't own guns, right, because of the felony conviction. And there's a lot of stuff that you might think would make the issue a prominent one, but it hasn't been. And I think that's primarily because of the lack of high profile gun violence throughout this year. And so in that same way, after we have major mass shootings, Uvalde, Parkland, Las Vegas, acts of that nature, you tend to see an upswing in support for stricter gun laws. And then a few months after those big events, support will come back down. But one thing we've noticed over time is that the support comes back down to a level that was higher than the previous floor. And I think you're seeing that in this polling as well. This multi-decade survey that Gallup released, or the study of their polling results. And, you're seeing, yes, young women are moving on the issue faster than other demographics are, but it's really something that's affected basically every demographic.
Yeah, I liken the support for or against, new gun laws or gun control laws to inflation. Inflation sucks and it's pretty bad right now. The prices go up because of inflation, and then when things get better economically, the prices don't go back down again. They stay where they were, or they don't tend to go back down again for any particular good or service. A couple of weeks ago, I was out in Kansas for the Active Self-Protection National Conference, and I got to say, I'm so used to it now in that orbit, in the group of people that John and Steph and Neil have sort of curated. There are a ton of women. I don't have the numbers. Maybe I'll get the numbers and report back to you next week or something, but a ton of female attendees. And not all of them were just like along with their husbands or boyfriends. These were independent women there to learn more about guns. We even had a class, a fantastic class my wife took, just sort of test driving different guns. And it's amazing to me what you can get done and what you can sort of convince someone of, or at least influence them if you come alongside them one at a time. So you have an individual acquaintance, a friend, whoever it might be, take them to the range. If they're anti-gun, say, do you want to know what it's like? Let's go to the range. Let me take you out there, let you handle this stuff, see that it's not inherently dangerous in and of itself. Because I just don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know what the NRA or any other major gun rights group is doing to sort of reach out to people like this and sort of try to, convince them that maybe they should give guns a second look. What are your thoughts?
Well, the NRA does have a women's program, always, and has for a long time. And I would say that the industry as well is making strides in trying to attract more women. And you have seen reports that they are some of the fastest growing demographics when it comes to gun ownership. And so, I think there has been strides in this, especially with the industry, at least in gun ownership. But it seems like there's a lag between women open to buying guns for themselves or for protection, and change in political stance on the issue of gun laws. That's what's one of the interesting things, because I think you can look at some of the surveys that the industry has done, and I don't, it's a little bit different than, the sort of scientific polling that Gallup does, but still, I think, valuable information, and they do show an increase in female gun owners over the course of the last 15 to 20 years. But you have to keep in mind, of course, that even though there may be growth there, it's still not to the point where women are on parity with men when it comes to gun ownership, not by a long shot, right? So you can be making progress while still having an overall issue with certain demographics.